Alrighty, guys. Our quiz on this stuff is tomorrow. All right. Unless for some reason we have a cold day and there's no school, then it'll be on Tuesday. But I doubt that's going to happen. So let's prepare. If you missed today being Thursday, I take a look at this because I strongly recommend taking it on Friday here with us because otherwise you got a long weekend. You're probably not going to pay attention to this. All right. But anyway. Through 3 stars here. So our 3 stars, how do we classify a polynomial? We classify by degree and by number of terms. Okay. The second half of our 3 stars has to deal with our end behavior, which is great if you can get this. There's 3 questions on this quiz about end behavior. So if you can do this 3-star, you should have a great guide map for 3 questions later. Okay. For anytime you see positive indicates an up arrow. Anytime you see negative, it indicates a down arrow. Okay? All right? Odd means opposite, even means same. So opposite, all right, and same. Okay, nice and easy. All right, and that we'll come more back to that later. Okay? All right, number three, guys, combine your like terms. All right, based on the sign that is in between. So I see minus sign. All right, a lot of times it's good to keep track about which ones you did. So I'm going to start with x cubed. I see x cubed minus x cubed. Those cancel each other out. So I've already done that. I've used that. It's gone. Next thing I see is x squared minus a negative x squared. Minus a negative really means plus a positive. So I really have x squared plus x squared, which gives me 2x squared. Okay. I've now used that. Now I have negative 2 minus 1, which is negative 3. Okay, we have to classify this. Okay, we classify it by degree and number of terms. So by degree, it is a quadratic because it's squared. Okay, number of terms, there are 2 of them, so that is binomial. All right, next one. Again, combine like terms based on the sign that's in between. Okay. So I have x to the 4th. It has no like term. I'm going to go ahead and just write it down. All right, standard form tells me that my next thing down should be an x cubed term. So I looked in here. I do have an x cubed term. I have this 3x cubed. Okay, so I'm going to use that. It doesn't have a like term, so I'm going to write it down. Next thing down would be an x squared. There is no x squared term, so I'm going to move to the next one, which is x. There is an x. It's that minus 2x there. Okay. And then I have 8 minus 8, which of course is 0. You do not write plus 0, you leave it out. So again, classify. Degree is to the 4th power, so that would tell me that this is quartic. So think quarter, there's 4 quarters in a dollar, right? Oh my god, now I just wrote quarter. Quartic, okay? And then there are 3 terms, so that is a trinomial, all right? So those are those 2. Number 5, again, we're still classifying, however, we have much multiplication here, all right? So we're going to FOIL this. If I FOIL the back 2 first, so the first one I don't touch, okay, the back 2, x times x is x squared, okay? X times 2 is 2x, okay? Negative 2 times x is negative 2x, that cancels itself out, and then of course negative 2 times 2 is negative 4, okay? Forgot to write the squared there. All right, now you go ahead and FOIL again. So x times x squared is x cubed. X times 4 is 4x. I'm sorry, negative 4x here. Okay. 3 times x squared is 3x squared. All right, and then 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Classify. It's to the 3rd power, so it's cubic. Okay. And we have 4 terms, so that would be a polynomial. Okay. Remember, this is all multiple choice, so you will have to do your work and then figure out what the classification is. All right. For this next one, go ahead and FOIL the back first. So if I do that, 2x times 3x squared is 6x to the 3rd. Okay. 2x times negative 2 is negative 4x. Okay. 3 times 3x squared is 9x squared, and we have negative 6 here. Okay, I have to distribute my x into all 3 terms, so or 4 terms, excuse me. So I have 6x to the 4th, 9x to the 3rd, okay, 4x squared, and negative 6x, okay? Classify again, it's the fourth power, so it's quartic, okay? And there are 4 terms, so it's a polynomial. All right, next section, okay? I'll give an example. This is still multiple choice, right? So you'll have to look at the examples and pick the correct one. Cubic binomial, the important thing is that it has an x cubed, okay, and there's 2 terms, okay? That's the important part of that. Quartic monomial. Quartic means it has to have an x to the 4th power in there, okay? And monomial means 1 term. Linear monomial, again, x to the 1st power and only 1 term, okay? The last section on this front page here, okay, is end behavior. So those are those arrows, those are that 3-star that we talked about earlier. Okay, the only term you are concerned about is this very first term. This very first term tells you all the information you need. First thing you need to look at is this term positive or negative? In this case, it is negative. That tells me that the right side goes down. Okay? Then I look at the exponent. The exponent, when I look at the exponent, I look, is it even or is it odd? In this case, the exponent is 2. That is an even number. Even means to do the same thing that you did on the right side. So I was down on the right, I'm also down on the left. Okay? Second one, again, just that first term, that's all I'm looking at. All right, I start with, is it positive or negative? It's negative. Negative means the right side goes down. Okay, look at the exponent. The exponent is 5. 5 is odd. So odd means opposite. So I've got up, then down. Finally, again, same question, positive or negative. It's positive, so the right side goes up. Okay, I look at the exponent. The exponent is 11. 11 is odd, so odd means opposite, so that would tell me my left side goes down. All right, so you can use your 3 stars to help you out with that. Should be pretty straightforward. Okay, number 13 says to factor, and it says find the GCF first. Okay, the GCF here, this is nice. The GCF is 2x, okay? If I take out a 2x, I divide everything by 2x, I am left with, not 2x, I am left with x squared minus 6x plus 8. Okay, now what I'm thinking is, okay, what multiplies to 8 and adds to negative 6? So for me, all right, and for you, that should be negative 4 and negative 2. Okay, there's my answer because all I wanted was factors. Okay, so there's my factored form. All right, number 14 asks me to write in standard form. Okay, so they give me the zeros and then I got to go to standard form. All right, so first step is I always think opposites when I look at my zeros. So I see a minus 1, so when I go to my parentheses, it better be x plus 1. Okay, when I see a positive 1, I'm going to say x minus 1, and then finally x minus 2. Okay, that's factored form. That is not standard form. Standard form will require you to go ahead and distribute. Here, you have choices. Remember, the order doesn't matter, like as far as which parenthesis you choose to distribute. Okay, so in this case, I know I told you guys normally go with the back 2. However, I think this problem is easier to go with the first 2. The reason being is I have a positive 1 here and a negative 1 here. That means something's going to cancel out. So because I have exact opposites, I should probably do this first. So I'm going to. Okay, if I go ahead and distribute everything here, I am left with actually x squared minus 1. Okay, and I still have that x minus 2 here. Okay, go ahead and distribute again. All right, so first times first, it's going to be x cubed. Okay, then I'm going to end up with negative 2x squared. Okay, my middle 2 together, negative 1 and x is negative 1x. Okay, and then finally negative 1 times negative 2 is a positive 2. Okay, you would have gotten that either way. However, again, I think it's easier to actually multiply those first 2 parentheses together, but it is indeed up to you. All right, number 15. Okay, number 15. Okay, it asks specifically about the 0, 1. So first off, let's just talk about what the zeros are. All right, to get the zeros, we just look at the parentheses. Remember, we got to think opposite. So here, my first side of parentheses, I get x equals a positive 1, okay, my second set of parentheses here, my 0 is going to actually be negative 1, and then the third set of parentheses, my 0 is going to be negative 3, to figure out what the multiplicity is, because that's what it's asking. It's asking about the multiplicity, okay? Remember, that's how many times the 0 actually shows up. To get that information, I look at the exponent. So I'm going to start with the third one, okay? I look at this exponent. The exponent is 2. My last one here is a multiplicity of 2, okay? Then my red one here, which was my middle, also has a multiplicity of 2. I find that information by looking at the exponent. And finally, the first one, which was in blue, has a multiplicity of 3. Now I look at the back of this question, it says, okay, multiplicity of the 0, 1. So I'm looking for the x equals 1 statement. That's this top one. That would be my answer. It has a multiplicity of 3. Okay? On the quiz, when you get this graphing one, it asks for relative min and relative max. Okay? It's going to give you a specific area to look at. So pay attention to the statement. It'll say, like, what is the relative max when x is less than 0 or x is greater than 0? So that way you know exactly where you're looking. Okay, for the maxes, I'm looking at the highest peak that I see, the hill that I see. Okay, for mins, we would call it a valley. It's the lowest spot that I see. Okay, for this, okay, here is my relative max. Okay, it is a y equals statement. In this case, each line is worth 2. So this would be a y equals negative 6. Okay, for the minimum, all right, minimum is all the way down here. Okay, again, it is a y equals statement, and it will be negative 22. All right, and guys, that's the quiz, okay? So that'll actually be, those last two are still part of the multiple choice, and actually this, I believe, this is number 14, and I think it's number 13 are actually going to end up being your, free response questions. Okay, so there's only 2 on there. So I'm hoping for great success on this. It's not too difficult, not too long. Okay, again, this is all just depends on if we have school tomorrow or not. I think we should. And yeah, so there it is.